Hello again, this is Valine
And Christina.
and we are here with Mr. Russ Bennett, one of the campus ministers here at Anderson University, and he's awesome. So, Russ, we know that you do a lot on this campus. Obviously, you're always prepared with a hammer, but we would just like you to describe your involvement in the ministry here or even outside of AU.
Well, I'm known as Judas Maccabeus, the Hammer, here at Anderson University. No, not really. I am the BCM director and Mosaic director in Mission Sky, and have been here for the last couple of years, and just have the opportunity to serve with a phenomenal leadership team on both Mosaic and BCM. Get to pastor and love those students, get to see them lead and direct in those two areas of ministry. So it's been great to be here.
Speaking of phenomenal, you are married to a phenomenal woman named
Yep.
Anna, and I would just like you to kind of talk about how you and your wife serve together in ministry as well.
Well, my wife and I, when we met, one of the things that attracted her to me the most was the fact that she was called to ministry. And so since the very beginning of our marriage, and even before, we've just been in ministry together. So she plays the role of a helpmate for me, like here at Anderson, but when she has a ministry, like with the women that she works with at the hospital, then I play a helpmate to her. And so in every ministry that I've been involved in, from youth ministry to church planting to college ministry, she's always been a part of, really what I'm doing. She's just as much a minister of the gospel as I am in what we do. So it's been great to serve together.
Now, have you witnessed any opposition that has maybe come up in regards to your wife from other people as she's been involved in ministry, or just with other women in general?
I think I haven't really experienced any opposition to my wife specifically, because we just kind of tend to surround ourselves with people that are like-minded and that follow after what Scripture says, and so we haven't really encountered a whole lot of opposition. I did go to school at Southwestern Seminary, the largest seminary in the world, and had a large number of females in school with me there, actually the largest number of any seminary, and just was able to see those females just really excel to the point where they were the top in their class in so many classes, and so I did see some opposition for them there at the university, and I also saw some opposition for some of my professors there that were women who lost their jobs because they were women. Basically they were Hebrew teachers, or they were history of Christianity teachers, and when the mindset of the university changed, as presidents changed, they lost their positions there, which was very frustrating to me, because they were excellent scholars and had worked hard in their field. And so I have experienced some of that opposition.
Now, 1 Timothy 2 does say that a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over a man. She must be silent. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. Now, do you think people take this verse out of context when it comes to applying it to women being in ministry, or do you think that there is some truth to what is written?
I think it's a mixture of both. I don't think Paul would have written it if there wasn't some truth in that. I think, though, that the reason that people use it out of context is because of weakness and fear. Unfortunately for women in general, that their roles have had to be redefined because of men that are sinful and they're not carrying out their roles in the church. If it wasn't for godly Sunday school teachers that were women who were willing to take the classes that men should have been teaching, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm so thankful for women that have stepped up throughout the history of the church and have led, kind of like Lydia in Scripture. I don't believe that women should sit silently and not be actively involved in the ministry of the church. If I was a pastor of a church, I would definitely want women ministers on staff working and teaching and doing. I do think that those that tend to use that scripture out of context are those who have a very narrow mind of women and do not respect the work that they've done. So that would be kind of my response to that passage. But I do think it's important, so I don't want to throw that passage out. I think there's something for everybody to learn from that passage. But I do think that when they say women shouldn't be involved in ministry, that is taking that passage out of context.
So how would you feel about women being involved in the church as pastors, deacons, and elders?
I think that women should be involved in every capacity of the church except for senior pastor. That's just my personal beliefs based on Scripture, just really feel like that position is held, and not that women wouldn't be qualified, but that whoever takes on that position of lead pastor has a higher calling, that God has set them apart, and they will answer, as it talks about in Timothy. They will answer for if they don't carry out that calling specifically, and nowhere in Scripture does it address the issue of a woman taking on that role, and so that's kind of really my heart for that position. But as far as women and children's ministry or any other type of ministry that falls under the leadership of that head pastor, I have no trouble with that. I have no trouble with women deacons. I mean, that's evident in Acts. There's 2 women deacons that Paul mentions. I have no trouble with women elders as well. It's just, for me, that lead pastor role should be based on Scripture, reserved for a male person to lead in. But otherwise, I think women are more than qualified to lead. And I don't think that they are unqualified to be head pastors. I just think that the Lord specifically laid out some examples for how we're supposed to go about that. So that would be my response to that.
All right, now, just in closing, I kind of want you to go ahead and talk about your ministry on campus here a little bit more, and just what you hope to see God accomplish through you and through that ministry in your time here.
I just hope that, personally, that I could just walk with the Lord closely for the rest of my ministry, however long that is, and that God would give me an opportunity to spend time with students so I can reproduce that, reproduce somebody who just loves Christ and that loves other people. And so I guess my real heart for what I would love for seeing him happen is that he would just help me personally to fall more and more in love with him, and that he would give me opportunities to spend time with students just to reproduce that, and just be able to see them do that, see that light click for them, and for them to begin to walk with the Lord in a real way. That's kind of my heart. Hope that happens. So.
Awesome.
All right. Well, you heard it from the best, ladies and gentlemen. This is Russ saying bye.
Maccabeus.
Maccabeus. All right. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.